And just when I thought that everything was peachy keen, somewhere deep within the shadows there were other things to be seen. An untamable beast with the urge to feast, and only alone would he stand. The culprit of fear on the 67th tier, there lies the Boogieman.
No introduction needed, 9 times you must repeat it. Mind trying to just delete it. I'm nines, lust to be this rough MC. His gluttony with rhyme, grind, trust, believe it. A legend ever since the projects. An odd tech will get respect when he wrecked the set, but never get the props that was God blessed. So this is me, never letting the card rest. The object of rawness, dejected steps to darkness. Led to the industry, whispering the name. History became a mystery, cause listeners in the game wish to sing the same riff. Cerebral glitch will lead to lame, and this will be a gift from me that'll split and bleed your brain. They heard the name, but can't put a face with it, oh what a shame. When he reigns, in the woods he stands still. He turned the lanes, from saint to straight wicked. Don't tell me you ain't heard the saying, the Boogieman's real.
He's underneath your bed, trapped inside your head. You try to find it, but you decide it's just that Boogieman. We feel what we can't see. This web's a tangled weave of life designed to try and blind you from that Boogieman. And when that voice you hear eliminates your fears, what do you do? Discover the truth that it's the Boogieman. And now you know it's real, and everything you feel hits you again. You will stand face to face with that Boogieman.
They don't wanna have to try to do as I do. That's probably why it ain't been easy for me to slide through. I chew rappers up on stage and mics, they pride flew out with the Ravens fight to hate and haven lies you. Cause you don't want change, and you don't want strange. Rearranging the main lanes to bring games from plain Jane. That's when your fame strains, and you can't maintain. You think you sing such an insane range, same thing. And I'm the shadow in the dark that came for battle in the park, and they skedaddled when I parked. It gave a rattle to their hearts, cause they're afraid that they will all fail. Darkness will prevail, the Boogieman is not a tall tale.
What a tough act to follow. You afraid, tell me, are ya? When you just came, you were nada. Tell your lane, sayonara.
The Boogieman, the Boogieman.
This web's a tangled weave of life designed to try and blind you from that Boogieman.
Well, that was a cheeky nightmarish tale now, wasn't it? Tonight I bring you this quick short story I have uncovered that I thought I would share with you, my viewers. Now you all who watch my channel know that my top priority of things I strive for is to search for the truth of the Creator within the aspects of His creation so that I may better understand that which is the intangible being that He is. Well, I have come across this tale and I believe what I may have uncovered is the source of His facades, past all the masks that hide Him. This is the tale of His death, unfortunately. However, the characteristics and the title of the character all coincide with the one I have been led to be told as being the one responsible for designing and placing me upon my path as the morning star, and then leaving me as a scapegoat to take the fall as the personification of evil, to supplant me in my role as the devil, all in a plan to use me as a tool so he could become the creator and I pay the price for it. That was my purpose. He pulled me out of my place when I died as a child and had me return to achieve my role in his grand design. Not that it really matters, I guess, because this is the tale of his death, it seems. So let us revel in it. It is the tale of Brahma and the coming of the comet. Now this would be around the point sometime after Mount Tuba's eruption 75,000 years ago, when the 3 asteroids struck the Earth at the same time. One struck off the southern coast of Africa, one in the Caribbean Sea, and one around India. This is the tale of the one that struck near India. Now I had to write this from dictation, so it is not word for word accurate, but the tale is basically the same and I extracted the main details. From the essence of Brahma that came forth in the shape of a boar, exceedingly small at first but grew in the space of an hour great in size, but yet it remained in the skies. Brahma gazed and did use his divine perception to ascertain that this object was of the intangible form of the omnipotent being of creation being manifest within the universe into this object. And he did say to Mairyu of the jinn, "A wonderful animal has come forth from my being. It came forth, at first of the smallest size, it has in 1 hour increased in size to this enormous bulk, and without doubt it is of that almighty power." Brahma was an earthly king, at first frightened by this terrible spectacle in the air, and then claimed he produced it himself. They were in this conversation when their Abara entered the atmosphere, and it made a roaring sound, and that sound it made was a sound that reverberated and echoed around all 4 corners of the earth. But still, under the fear that befell the heaven, a certain divine confidence secretly lightened the hearts of Brahma, as Mairyu and the other jinn immediately began praises and other glories, and Brahma, hearing the words and power of the Vedas and the mantras from their mouths, again came a loud noise as a terrible spectacle, shaking the full flowing mane flowing down its neck and directing the humid hairs flowing down its body. He proudly displayed his 2 giant white tusks, then rolling about, curling his red eyes and curbing his tail, he descended from the region of the air and plunged headfirst into the water. The whole body of water was convulsed by the motion and began to rise in waves, while the guardian spirit of the ocean began to tremble for his domain and cried for mercy. Now in other texts of Krishna it speaks of a tale of a talking fish that was Mahavishnu in disguise, that appeared to a king who had sailed to sea to go fishing. The talking fish warned the king of a coming flood and to sail immediately towards the north to the temple of Kailas in the Himalayan mountains. The king did exactly as told and did not doubt the fact that a fish was talking to him, and because of this he and the people on his boat survived while everyone else perished that day. I believe that these 2 tales just may be connected. It is known that Mahavishnu was the talking fish, and I speculate that Mahavishnu was also there on the beach with Brahma when the comet struck, and projected to the king in that boat to send the warning to ensure his survival, knowing their doom was sealed. Most likely Mahavishnu's daughter or someone similar was aboard that boat he wanted to make sure survived, knowing he would not. And on fire red embers twilight dawn we see that even death may die and eternity is not so eternal. Yet still it is sad to see whether ally or nemesis one to meet his end like this. As an adversary without resolving our differences, I am left without resolution and thus imbalanced, and must deal with my issues myself. As an ally who has led me down my path to higher enlightenment and thus higher purpose, rather than a tool of evil to be manipulated by those who have manipulated my ancestors for going on 3 millennia now, I am left feeling emotional detachment to the situation, but after reapplying emulated feelings based on how others would react to the situation, bypassing my built-in demonic trigger that makes the devil who he is, I feel remorse that no further enlightenment will be attained, yet hopeful that I will find a way to reach my own designed path of further enlightenment based on the teachings he has given me thus far. So in parting emulations of a Scythe Lord, I say these words of solace to your passing. He was a generous and wise chubby checker, quick to give what he had, bountiful stock supplies to give to those he saw in need, without hesitation, in a time when such things were rare and desperately needed. Yet when he saw anyone who had something, anything, with greater potential than what he possessed, he would even go as far as disillusioning himself that whatever that was his and always had been his, that he had conceived its design and brought it into existence, therefore it was his to possess and use at his leisure. His only true fault that carried through into every single manifestation and incarnation that he ever had, because once God has an idea it is his word and none can defy it, and it is infallible and he will not hear otherwise or you incur his wrath, so it is said. But the association that ties these two together would be Solomon. You see, it has always been said that God gave Solomon his wisdom, but that couldn't be any further from the truth. I did, for the purpose in his aid in helping me fight back the forces of Satan in my era. That quality of claiming another's deed for his own is identical to Brahma's claiming of this comet's making in this tale. It's not why I associate him to my situation. There is another reason for that which I won't divulge. A magician never gives away his secrets. But I shall just say that I am certain this individual is not just a fictional story, and just as I am not a fictional character, as many of you have come to understand, and neither was Satan as I have revealed, nor here was the Creator, just as the Vedic texts display. The only issue is the thousands of years and lack of descriptive words to properly express what was occurring so we could understand it easily is all. Once we repair that issue and bypass the rhetoric, religious dogmatic belief forced down our throats that dictate and limit our lives and evolutionary possibilities, this concept will be no challenge to us to understand any longer, I think. And of course the descriptions in the section of Brahma are full of verbal glitches, making the words come out sounding wrong. I could be OCD about the issue, but I think I'll leave it as it is, merely to prove my point. Aha! The more I delve into these cultures, the more they open up their cultural purposes to me easier than the universe's quantum laws did. To show an example of this, I shall explain my position that I have described in my previous video titled The Evolution of Evil, and simply transfer its principal factors with a slight change in descriptive titles and cultural references, as that of Lucifer, being my angelic being, Set, being my form trapped in between the astral and mortal realm after the Garden of Eden scenario for 1,000 years, and worshipped by the Assyrians, thinking I had the power to defy death because I lingered between, Angra, Mairyu being the full spectrum of manifestations and entitled names that highlight my full destiny that would, in Hindu culture, be summarized as Shiv Prava, which would be the ultimate combined manifestation of all my forms into one being that just cannot ever be possible, not in or outside of creation, for there would never be any purpose for such a reason to do so. Thus it is illogical to contemplate, and so never considered, and so never exists in any possible version or form, except for Shiv Prava, which would be something beyond all concepts of time, space, reality, all 16 dimensions, the 9 heavens, beyond the one source, past the primordial void of nth, through there, of there, and into the philantical of the Shiv Prava, from which what that means none of us knows and can never possibly know, for it is beyond theoretical science, off the forbidden chalkboard of imagination, and into that waste basket of senseless scrap that is called bland, tasteless humor. Thank you, ciao Bella, that's all, now get the out of here.